Welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to do some hands-on with CloudFormation. We'll deploy a stack and look at change sets as well. So back in the console, I don't mind which account you're in, but make sure you're in US East, North Virginia. I'm going to go to Services and then find CloudFormation, and we're going to create a stack. And I'm going to choose Template is ready, upload a template file. Now, what we need to do is we're going to upload some template files that come from our CloudFormation directory. So back in the course download, you'll find CloudFormation, and then you'll find these 4 files. Let's use this one first. So just choose number 1, EC2 instance. Now, this is what the file looks like. So I've got the 4 files open here. This is the EC2 instance. Super simple. We just define a resource. The resource name is my instance, and the type is AWS EC2 instance. So it's an EC2 instance. The properties are the availability zone, US East 1A, the image ID, and we've got an AMI in here, and then the instance type. And that's really all we need to define, and we're going to launch an EC2 instance. Of course, it's very simple. We haven't defined which key pair to use. We haven't defined what security groups and so on. We're just keeping it simple. This is really the minimum you need to specify. Now for AMI, what I've done is copied that from the EC2 management console. So just in case this is out of date when you start watching this, come back, let's go to EC2, go to launch instance, and make sure you're in US East, North Virginia. And then under Amazon Linux 2 AMI, just copy this one, the x86 option. So we've already got that defined. We don't need to change anything here. Back in CloudFormation, we've already added our file. Let's click on Next. Stack name will just be my instance. Click on Next. Now we could specify a role. If we don't specify a role, it's just going to use my account, so it's going to use my permissions, which is fine in this instance. You can use stack policies here, define rollback configuration, notification options, and also here these stack creation options, which, as you know, by default, it will roll back with any failures. You can also enable termination protection. We'll leave all the defaults, click on Next, and then just scroll down and create the stack. So very simple. We can watch now what's happening, and shouldn't take too long to launch this instance. So that didn't take long, and we've got a create complete. And in EC2, I can see I've got this running instance here. So that was a very simple exercise there. Now coming back over to our files, we've then got this one number 2, EC2 instance IP. So here what we've done is we have an extra resource. So under resources, we've got my instance and then my Elastic IP. So the type here is AWS EC2 EIP. And then we need to supply the connection between the Elastic IP and the instance. So we use instance ID here, and then there's a reference to the resource created under my instance. So that reference will pick up the instance and assign the Elastic IP to it. So back here, what we're going to do now is we want to run a change set. So we can choose stack actions, create change set for current stack, replace the template, upload, change file, choose number 2, and upload. And then we just click on through. We don't need to change anything. Scroll down, click on Next, and then create the change set. And it just comes up with a name for you. That's now in create pending, and that shouldn't take very long at all. Now it's not actually going to make a change to the stack. So that didn't take long, really just a few seconds. And we can see the changes reported here. You can also go to template to view the code, see what changes are coming through in JSON if you like, what the input is, and here is the actual change. So very simply, it's telling us that the change will be that it's going to add an Elastic IP. So that's fine. Let's just go ahead and execute. And now it will actually do that. It will actually go and update the existing stack and physically make the change to the resource. So back in EC2 now, let's head down to Elastic IPs. We can see we've got this Elastic IP which ends in .81. Come up to our instance, choose the properties, go to networking, and it's not there yet. So you can see the existing public IP. Let's just give that a moment and then refresh. And now we can see that's changed to .81. So coming back in here now, let's click on refresh, and sure enough, that's finished. Now back in our files here, let's go over to the document number 3. So it's getting a little bit more complex. Now we've got some mappings. The resources are still defined at the bottom here, but at the top we've got mappings. So we've got an instance map, and we've got US East 1 and US West 1, and then we have environment here, dev and then prod, and for each of those different regions. And we've specified the instance type we want to use in that environment. We've then got an AMI map. So I've actually mapped the AMIs for the different regions, and you might even have a different AMI for the different environments, whether it's prod or dev. So then down here, the resource now has different property configuration. The image ID uses this find in map, which is going to look under mappings. It's going to look in the AMI map here for the reference for the region. So it's going to find the region you're in, and then it's going to determine which AMI to use based on the environment. You could also have a reference for the environment, but we've just hard-coded it as dev. And then the same happens for the instance type, where it will choose the instance type based on location. So for instance, if we now go to US West 1, we should find that our instance is deployed as an M1 large. So let's go back over, and we're going to change to US West 1, and we're going to create a stack, choose upload a template file. It's going to be the number 3 document. Again, I'm just going to call it my instance. Next, and we don't need to change anything. So come all the way through and create the stack. So that's in progress. Let's go over to EC2 and see what type of instance it launches. So in EC2, I've gone to the US West 1 North California, and we've got a pending instance here, and it's an M1 small. So sure enough, that's worked. So let's just refresh and see where this has got to. It's complete. But what I'm going to do, I'm simply going to delete this stack. And so when you delete the stack, it should then go through and just delete all these resources for us. There's not many going on here, but obviously in a complex stack, there can be quite a lot to delete. It's always worth watching and making sure that it does complete successfully as well. Now, I'm not going to do that now because it's super simple. Let's go back over to US East, North Virginia. And in our files, we've got this 4th file here. This is about using parameters. So I just want to show you very simply how to use parameters. Things like the mappings and the parameters are the types of things that might come up in exam questions for the pro level. That and just simply the use cases for CloudFormation and the difference between change sets and stack sets. Those are really the key few things that come up quite often. So in here we can see that we have an instance type parameter. Type is string, default is T2 micro, and then we have some options. So we can choose the allowed values. So all this does simply is if we go and create a stack with new resources, upload the template file, choose number 4, click on next, and now we have the parameters so we can actually specify. So you'll often find that when you're using some CloudFormation templates that you found somewhere, like some of the examples that AWS have, you'll often have quite a few parameters that you can specify. So those are simply how you use parameters. We could now choose which type of instance we want to deploy. Now that's really it. That's all I wanted to show you. So I'm going to delete this last stack here, and then that should clean up all our resources.